So the Packers came in last night, got the victory as we all hoped, 27-10, beating the Bears. And I talked about during the week that if we had lost to the Bears, I would have been very concerned, very worried. They had a good week 1, beating the 49ers, but they're still not one of the better teams in the NFL. So it was great to see the Packers come in, bounce back after a slow week 1 where we didn't really perform up to, I think, our expectations as to what this Packers team can really be. And I think we saw a lot more of it last night. So I want to go over some Aaron Rodgers quotes from his press conference after the game, basically going into the offense, the use of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and basically how the Packers are going to be a little different this year as opposed to last year. And so I want to go through all these different quotes from Rodgers. So first off here we have from an ESPN article written earlier today by Rob Demovsky, and this is sort of on spreading the ball around. This is what Rodgers had to say. He says this: "I think we're going to have to," which is spread the ball around. Rodgers said, "The days of one guy getting 15 and then the next guy getting 4 or 5 are kind of over. We're going to have to find ways to get different guys of football in different spots. There's a lot of different plays for specific guys. We had a package for Christian Watson. We had a package for Romeo Doubs. Obviously, a lot of plays for Sammy and for Allen coming back, which is great. And then a couple wrinkles for Cobb. We had him in the backfield on the third down. That's kind of the way it's going to go. Obviously, we had a lot of plays for 33 and 28. So Rodgers starting that off by basically saying, you know, the days of targeting one guy 15 times, aka Davante Adams, now over there in Las Vegas. We don't have that elite number 1 receiver. And with Davante, it's like he's the best receiver in the game, if not one of the best. You know, top 1, top 2, top 3, depending on who you ask. And so we all knew the Packers offense would look a lot different and the ball would likely be spread around a lot more. And I think after week 1, we heard Matt LaFleur consistently say throughout this past week that the Packers need to get the ball into the hands of both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon more this week, which they really did. If we take a look at the stats of the game, Jones dominated 15 carries, 132 yards, averaging 8.8 yards per carry. And then A.J. Dillon with 18 carries for 61 yards, averaging 3.4 yards per carry. So last night, the Packers ran the ball a total of 38 times as opposed to Rodgers throwing it 25 times. And so I think we saw last night the strength, the foundation of this Packers offense now is Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And I think after week 1, Matt LaFleur was saying, you know, they should have stayed on the run more because they were running it successfully last week. And the fact that Aaron Jones only had a total of, 8 or so carries or 8 touches last week was a little interesting. But today the Packers were able to, or last night, able to come in, consistently run the ball. And when we look at this receiver core, Rodgers did say, we're going to be spreading it out a lot. There's lots of different things for lots of different guys. We saw the Packers utilize lots of different little, like motions, little pitch to Christian Watson, little pitch to Aaron Jones, basically a handoff, but it's considered a pass. So they're using lots of different things here. And if we take a look at the receivers last night, Sammy Watkins, 3 receptions, 93 yards. Jones, 3 receptions, 38 yards. Cobb, 3 receptions, 37 yards. Then Doubs, Lazard, Tunyon, 2 receptions, and Christian Watson, 3 receptions. So as you can see, there's not one guy getting the majority of the carries. It's spread around like crazy here in Green Bay now. And then one of the reporters asked about teams knowing that the Packers will likely want to utilize the run, and here's Aaron Rodgers' response to that. So he says this: "We expanded from week 1, but there is so much more that we can do with those guys. We got to get our best 11 on the field. It was fun to see Big Dog out there more because I feel like when he's playing more, obviously he can dominate the line of scrimmage. We're going to need him to as we move through this season. We're going to have to take care of him in practice. I love the way Sammy played. I love using Cobby the way we used him. Great having Allen back. He does so much more than just 2 for 13 or whatever he had. He made a bunch of great blocks tonight. We're going to use the young guys. They're going to come along, but I think we are just getting started with those guys in some of the things we can do." And so I think with this Packers offense, the way it is this year, we saw last night, I don't know the exact number of plays of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon both being out there together, but there was at least 10 plus plays where the Packers had both Jones and Dillon out in the field. And as Rodgers said, they want to have their best 11 out there. And I do think Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are 2 of the top 11 talents on this team. And we saw Jones last night consistently running the ball, no problem whatsoever. And I think when we look at Elton Jenkins coming back, he said himself he didn't play his best game, but just to have him back, have him out there on the field, he's going to get that rust off as time goes by. And hopefully when Bakhtiari returns eventually, this running game will get even better going forward. And so I think it is, the identity of this team has changed a little as opposed to last year where we could rely on Davante Adams in lots of situations. And now we're seeing a different kind of team, a team that spreads the ball around, a team that wants to feed their running backs, get them, going in both the running game and the passing game. Here's a final quote I want to read from Rodgers from last night. He said this: "Tonight was really about 28 and 33, getting them the football. I didn't play great. I feel like the stats look a little better than the game. the standard I set for myself is pretty high. I feel like it is attainable, and my definition of success, I feel like, rests gently on my shoulders and my ego, but I missed some throws that I should never miss, and there were some opportunities for more points out there. So Rodgers says he can play better, but honestly, look at his stat line. He was very efficient last night. 19 of 25, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 131 point run rating. So Rodgers played very, very well. He clearly wants to play even better, which when you're a player of Rodgers' caliber, if you miss one throw, it's a little surprising, I guess, if you're him, because you expect to make those throws every single time. But I have high hopes for what this Packers offense can be in the future going forward, and just the different ways we can use these guys. And as Rodgers said, being able to slowly get Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs more and more, developed in this offense is going to lead to this offense being more explosive over time. And we can still rely on guys like Sammy Watkins, who last night had 3 receptions for 93 yards, and we'll see what happens going forward with this offense. But that's all I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you guys next time.